Hello and welcome once again to We've Got No Idea What We're Going to Say with Ben Simmons and Nick Murphy live on Ignite Radio.
It's good to be here for the pleasure of all your ears.
We want to pleasure you all ear-wise tonight. We're absolutely live. We're alive. We're ready to rumble. It's all fabulous.
It's exciting to be back here on our home on Ignite Radio. We've missed it last week, but we're glad to be back. But
absolutely. It's exciting to be broadcasting on this April Fool's Day.
It is April Fool's Day. And of course, we played a brilliant practical joke on all of you earlier on this evening who tuned in
we laughed
at 6:30 to hear us. And of course, we've moved the show for 1 week only to 10:30. So in many ways, it was like a double April Fool's because those of you that have tuned in now will be equally disappointed.
That implies that whether people were listening earlier and were upset we weren't there, or are listening now and we are here, they're going to be disappointed.
I think we know that's true.
Well, once again, we're back on WGNI on Ignite Radio, and as ever, we want this to be a glorious interactive show. We want your comments throughout the show, so feel free to get in touch in the variety of ways that you can. Firstly via email, which is info@wgni.co.uk, and then we have a variety of social media possibilities. Search WGNI on Facebook and find our page there where you can leave lovely posts, and of course, as ever, available on Twitter, and you can tweet us at WGNI Radio. So hopefully people will get in touch during the next hour and it will all be fabulous. We were hoping to start broadcasting a little earlier tonight, but we will still be with you for an hour. We're that crazy.
Yeah, I apologise for the small technical difficulties. I'm only a small technical person, so and I've got difficulties.
In life, generally, you're a tall, broad-shouldered man, but technically wise, you're a dwarf, aren't you?
Small and difficult. Many people have said that about me.
Do you think it's fair to say that as this is a late-night broadcast, it's going to be 4 hours raunchier?
4 hours raunchier?
Well, we normally start at 6:30. We've started round about 10:30, give or take 15 minutes. So
I didn't know it was possible to be raunchier than we were at 6:30.
Well, we don't have to be.
I like to think of us as the Tea Time Raunchy Show.
Does anybody think of us as that?
Me?
Right, that's all that counts.
None of the listeners think of us like that.
That is absolutely all that matters and all that counts in the world today. So.
But it's exciting to be here, to be back with you, and we don't know what we're going to say, do we?
We haven't planned anything, as is usually. In case you're newly listening to this show, that's the whole point of it. We don't have any idea what we're going to talk about. So whatever pops into our heads could come out of our mouths, and you could hear it.
And obviously, Ben's talked about some of the many ways you can get in touch with us. And I'd just like to add to that and say, please get in touch with us.
Yeah, and also, you've decided to go crazy this week, haven't you? And invite people to send things in by post.
Yes. If you get a letter to us while we're on air, we will mention you live on the radio.
They're going to need an amazingly good courier service to do that.
It's not down to us. If they want to be on the radio, they've got to put in the effort.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I completely agree with everything you say. So
yes, we like to think we're available through many means.
Yeah, we are. We're constantly available for the beauty of our listeners.
Absolutely.
What's been going on in the world then?
Well, as ever, I've paid no attention to what's going on in current events.
Nick, Current Affairs Murphy has struck again.
Has anything exciting happened that I might have heard? There's a few things I've heard about.
All I know that's happened today, because it's caused a lot of perceived outrage, is the government's new benefits scheme has been introduced, whereby they're taxing people for having spare bedrooms and things like that.
Right. Do you have a spare bedroom?
I'm not willing to say. I don't want to be taxed on it.
That 20-bedroom house that you've got is going to be a real burden now, then, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's been a pleasure to own it for the last 18 years.
I like to just visit your house unannounced and play Guess Which Bedroom Nick's hiding in. Your wife hates it when I play that, though. So
yeah.
But weirdly, your cat loves it.
I'm glad you know my home life so well.
I do know you. I've been one of your best friends for about 15 years.
Yeah, but I'm glad you decided to share it with everybody else. Maybe I didn't want to know everyone to know I had a cat.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm a deeply private person, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know what happened to me the other day?
I really don't. Even though I've known you for 15 years, I haven't spoken to you at all.
You're not psychic, and I don't tell you anything.
Not psychic. Well, I don't need to be psychic to know what you did like a few days ago.
Yeah, you need to just stop following me round, watching.
If the question was, do you know what I'm going to do in a few days, then I'd understand, yeah, you're not a psychic, you don't know.
Yeah, right. All right, I stand...
aroused.
Alone. I was working in the lovely area of London known as Covent Garden.
That is lovely.
Yeah, and without giving away the details of the job, I had to dress up as a particular character for the glory of children. You
and your costume character work for a big costume character company that isn't Disney.
I'm not saying any more.
But you didn't say anything then, it was me.
Oh, yeah. But I had to get changed. I was thinking, where am I going to get changed in Covent Garden? There's nowhere roundabout that seems obvious where you could get changed. Well, they have a marquee set up so that it's away from the eyes of the public. And I went to a building about, I think it's fair to say, 15 yards from the main piazza in Covent Garden, and there's this massive unoccupied house that is amazing, that overlooks Covent Garden, and it's owned by Covent Garden London or whatever. And I don't know if they've just been redoing the electrics, but there's these massive tall ceilings. It must have been, I don't know,
you've now sort of
12-room house.
Broken in and tried to claim squatters' rights.
Yeah, but you've got to live there for 10 years, and now I've said it live on the radio, they'll probably have people come and check. And also, the people that were in charge of us, which were from a children's charity, said it was really important they gave the keys back or they wouldn't get the deposit back on it and stuff. So,
and you said, well, you're a charity, so who cares?
Yeah, in some ways that was irresponsible. And now I've admitted to breaking and entering. And I'm not sure this has gone very well like I'd hoped. It was just meant to be interesting information, and now I'm a wanted man.
You've admitted tax liability, you've admitted committing breaking and entering, and you've admitted to having a cat. This show's not going well for you.
This is the Ben Simmons Reveals All show.
Now put your trousers back on. I think you've revealed too much.
Just in the glorious way of mentioning people that get in touch with the show, I feel duty-bound to say hello to Horace Hotman, who's in the Margate area of Kent, and is now a friend to the show.
Do you know, I think he's genuinely the first person I've come across called Horace.
Well, there you go. I'm going to shock you now by saying when I studied Latin, there was a famous Latin author known as Horace.
Did you know him?
I knew his work.
Well,
So by reading it, I felt like I got an insight into his mind.
There was a famous game in the 1980s on the Spectrum 48K, which I played a lot, called Horace Goes Skiing. I wasn't going to mention that as one of the Horaces I knew in my life.
But Horace is an invented character. Horace, the author in Roman times, was a real man.
That's the difference.
What did Horace do other than go skiing?
What was always weird about Horace Go Skiing, and it genuinely was one of those games, it's like a really simple idea and sounds mental, but a large part of it wasn't going skiing. For a large part, the sort of main, most difficult part of the game was the first part, which was having to cross the road to the ski shop and then cross the road back again. Right. And let me tell you, that was tricky.
I bet it was.
There was motorbikes, there were cars, and perhaps most famously, ambulances, and they were difficult.
It sounds like, what's the word, just a tarting up of the popular game Frogger, where you had to get a frog across a road without getting run over.
Maybe it was a tarting up, but I'm talking maybe the quite early 80s, certainly about 1984.
Yeah. So
was Frogger around then?
I think it was. I had an Acorn Electron, which was the BBC Micro's poor relation, and I don't think I had Frogger, but I had a similar game.
I think we've just admitted how old we are.
No, we haven't. We've said we had computers in the mid-80s.
You're right. Yes, yeah. I always get those two mixed up.
And of course, we built those computers at 6 months old, which was unbelievable.
No, we got them bought for us by our parents. The Spectrum 48K famously had rubber keys.
I remember
that. Yeah, a lot of people talked about as being a bit mental, but because that was the first computer I ever had, I kind of quite liked it and never really thought it was that weird.
I remember going to the Isle of Wight to visit my auntie and uncle, and my uncle had a Spectrum 48K with a flight simulator on it, and everyone was looking at it going, this is the most amazing thing ever. And you look at it now, and I can't use expletives on this program, but it was rubbish.
The free game that came with my Spectrum 48K, and I'm sorry to say I played it a lot, was called The Wall. And you were like a little bat at the bottom. There was a ball that sort of just instantly bounced down and broke bricks, and then that was basically what I spent most of the time doing.
Right.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh,
why are you excited?
Adam Ralph has commented on my status to say Horace goes skiing.
I think
in many ways it's a really, really banal comment.
Well, it's nice to hear from Adam Ralph, another friend to the show, clearly.
Yeah.
But I think you've misinterpreted his comment there. He's actually put Horace goes skiing.
Yes.
Not Horace goes skiing.
Oh, yeah, you're quite right. There's a very important inflection there. But yes, it was called Horace Goes Skiing, and it was genuinely a game that I really enjoyed. But of course, getting back to Horace Goes Skiing, once you'd successfully navigated the road from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen, you'd gone through the ski shop, which, by the way, cost you $10.
Right.
So if you'd run out of money, you couldn't buy them.
Trouble.
Then you've navigated the way back to the top of the road.
Yes.
So across 2 lanes of traffic. Mm-hmm. You then got to go on a ski course where you had to go over bumps and go through flags, but also you could crash into trees. Now, this is getting complicated now, so bear with me, listeners, bear with me.
Go a bit slower while you're explaining, because everyone's waiting excitedly.
So the first time you crashed into a tree, you had to restart, but your skis were okay.
Right.
The second time you crashed into a tree,
oh dear,
there was a penalty.
I'm not going to like this, am I?
But your skis were okay.
Oh, that's nice of the makers of the game.
The third time you crashed into a tree, your skis were broken. You had to cross the road to the ski shop again, costing you another $10.
You know what? You should probably just not crash into the tree.
Of course! Where were you?
You were only 6 months old. You weren't to know, were you?
No.
What's unbelievable about the Spectrum 48K and the old Acorn Electron and stuff, gamers of the current time will not appreciate this, because you put a DVD into a machine and stuff loads up within
seconds.
Even
a Blu-ray now.
You have mini games that you can play while things are loading, and you have a loading screen, and you have something else you can do at the time. Who can ever imagine needing a cassette player to load a computer game? I can remember a couple of games that would take about 7 minutes to load.
Yeah, they generally did take about 7 minutes.
And you get to like 6.5 minutes, and there'd be an error, and you'd have to rewind it and do it again.
But also, what always used to really annoy me about the Spectrum, the way that would load things from a cassette, if your volume was set too high or too low, it caused an error. You're like, it's a volume meter. It shouldn't affect your loading into a computer.
Yes.
But it did. Oh, it did.
You're absolutely right. Well, getting away from the trauma of computing in the mid-80s.
Yes, it was a trauma. Do you want, just quickly staying on that topic?
I've just said getting away from it, and you're taking us right back there.
I played Spectrum games so much that I got RSI'd my thumbs. Let's move on.
There is no comment needed, really, there, is there? Well, I think, actually, it's worthwhile saying, what did you progress to after that? Did you ever have a friend who had all the current technology?
Yeah, completely. I mean, in a sense, they weren't really my friend. They were my mum's friend's children, who I sort of had to go around and go to their house quite a lot when my mum went to see her.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't like them. And one of the main reasons was they got whatever technology, whatever computer game thing they wanted. Yeah. And they kind of didn't appreciate it. I just had my Spectrum and absolutely loved it. They would have like 5 or 6 or 7 different things and kind of not care if they got broken or whatever, and it used to make me a bit annoyed that they were spoiled.
I had a really good friend called Lee Clark, who was one of my best mates all throughout infant school and junior school.
Is he on your Facebook? Will he be listening to this?
He could be. I haven't spoken to him for a few years now, but I have kept in touch via Facebook very occasionally.
Right.
But he always had the current things. Like I had an Acorn Electron, and he had a Commodore 64 and a Sega Master System.
Yep.
And then I got an Amiga.
This is the same with the two lads. I'm not going to name drop them, because obviously I've been a bit negative.
I got a Commodore Amiga. I'm not going to be negative about Lee Clark. He was a great bloke. I had a Commodore Amiga, and then he got imported from Japan a Super Famicom.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. That was a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I remember.
He got it before it was even available as the thing in England.
I remember buying a magazine that said 1990 will be the year for games consoles.
Well,
and by gosh, they were right. Because they died a death after that.
What I often wonder about with Lee Clark is that he was always so far ahead of current technology. So I had that computer and he had about 3 things better. Now I've got a reasonable laptop PC.
Yeah.
I've got an Apple Mac computer at home. He's probably in charge of Deep Blue or something now. And is
a computer that was made in 1997 and has basically been defunct and is now in a museum.
Yeah.
So sorry that Lee Clark's had such a bad life that he's now using completely outdated technology. Deep Blue, of course, the computer that famously beat then world champion chess player Garry Kasparov in 1997.
We've got into a dangerous area there of you talking about chess, so I think we have to get to a random song that we don't know what it is.
I think we should. Play a random song.
You love random songs, don't you?
I don't know what they are.
Do you love this one? Let's find out.
That's right, cheerio.
So there we were with Carmen and Broken Hearted. Obviously, Nick Murphy was broken hearted, not getting to talk about chess just before the break there.
Oh God, were we talking about chess? I'd completely forgotten.
Those of you that know Nick Murphy will know that he is regularly involved in the world of chess and has been employed at a chess shop and has moved on to being one of the greatest minds at talking about chess software and giving people advice on how to use chess software. But even more than normal...
And
Nick's
sexy.
Yeah, and that. Even more than normal, Nick's been involved in the world of chess recently, haven't you?
That's
Go
right,
on, you've got about a minute, you can say what you were doing.
Just minutes before we went live on air, I got back from one of the strongest chess tournaments in history, which was just finished in London. It'd been going on for 3 weeks, 14 rounds. The World Chess Candidates Tournament, so 8 of the top players in the world playing to decide who's going to be playing the world champion in November. And it was exciting. Magnus Carlsen won, but dramatically lost his last round game.
Oh, Magnus
Carlsen.
Unbelievable.
So that's really everything to say about that. It was quite awesome. I met lots of famous chess celebrities who I'm sure you're all very excited about. And I actually quite like chess.
Well, can I just say, controversial though this may be for me to agree with you, I was fortunate enough to work with Nick Murphy for one day at this candidates tournament, and I did find it quite interesting to tell people that I'd been at working at a tournament with sort of 8 of the greatest chess players in the world doing it.
What was perhaps a bit weird, that considering it was one of the strongest tournaments in history, it was to decide the world championship contender, nobody else really knew it was going on.
No, it's a shame, really. What would you say if Garry Kasparov was sat where I am now instead of me?
I would say, do you think you can talk for an hour without really knowing what you're going to say?
And he'd say, yes, it will be fine, I'm okay at that.
Yes, he will.
I've spent ages doing that impersonation and making it exactly wrong.
What's weird now, because Garry Kasparov, I would say, is perhaps the most universally known chess player.
Yeah.
He was the world champion for 20 years, also one of the sort of strongest players, probably the strongest player in history. But he hasn't really played competitively for about 7 years now.
So he's lost all his skills.
And upsettingly, I wouldn't say he's useless.
Now.
Yeah, but Magnus Carlsen, who he coached for about a year, has now broken his all-time chess rating record and is now technically the strongest player in history.
I think I should point out this is the longest we will ever have talked about chess on this programme, and probably will never be allowed to do again because I might.
You gave me a minute. I've been talking for about 3.
Yeah, but there you go. That's the nature of the programme. But unbelievably, because Adam Ralph is listening, everyone hasn't turned off when we talk about chess. So there you go.
To be fair, Adam Ralph was one of the arbiters at this recent tournament, so he probably has, because he knows more about it than I do.
Did he have to give out any yellow and red cards for nasty takings?
No, he used to have to sort of switch clocks on and maybe help people to get back from the toilet.
All they have to do in a potentially 4 to 7, 8 hour game is move their arms to move little pieces across a board, and they can't be bothered to touch the clocks as well.
I think the arbiter just sets it going for the first time, then the chess players have to
right,
sort
so
of...
they don't say, excuse me, can you do my clock for me now?
Kind of like the runners in a race. You don't go, they haven't started the race themselves.
They haven't rung the bell.
They
with the
haven't
lap
shot
to
the
go.
gun. One of them hasn't got a gun. He's not shot the others and then run off.
Have you seen The Dictator with Sacha Baron
Yes, I
Cohen?
have. That
The scene
happens.
of that what you said just reminded me of.
What was weird is there was a big tournament in December, not quite as highly rated as this one, but a very exciting tournament. And there was a sort of kids tournament there, and one kid came in. His father was there with him, as you might expect fathers to be.
Yeah.
And he was pointed out to me because he was Sacha Baron Cohen's brother.
Right. Whether that's interesting or not,
I didn't say it was.
We're still talking about chess, and I've lost interest.
We're
now.
talking about Sacha Baron Cohen. Baron Cohen? That's not his name, is
Yes,
it?
it is.
Is it?
Yes. What did you think it was?
Sacha Ali G?
It's Baron Cohen. Deal with it.
We saw Les Miserables recently, which featured him quite heavily.
Yes, he was Monsieur Thénardier, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he did quite a good job.
He did do quite a good job, and I'm sure that we agreed on this, and people that have seen the film will agree. They kind of made all the music a little bit understated, didn't they?
They did, but wasn't it the first film they ever did it where they actually recorded it while filming, so
Yes.
they weren't sort of doing the
Yeah,
vocals in the studio later.
All the main actors had earpieces so they could hear music being played to them in their ear while they had to sing, but while they were actually being filmed, they were singing live.
I feel a bit John Travolta now because I'm going to move slightly away from Les Miserables
Can you explain why you said John Travolta instead of controversial?
because it's a slightly humorous way of saying controversial.
That's all I needed to hear.
That two people have liked my status on Facebook. I said we're live right now on www.ignite-radio.com, which we
Yeah.
are, of course. Here we are.
Who are those people? Let's say hello to them.
Well, the thing is, I'm pretty sure that one of them is listening.
Right.
I'd almost go out on a limb and say the other one isn't listening and has probably just liked my status.
Because they like you and think you're a nice person.
Yes.
Well, hang on,
And
what's wrong with them?
What's upsetting is I don't really know how to pronounce her surname.
Right,
but
so
her
shall we
name's
ignore her?
No, Aushra, and I want to say Pukalita. But I might be
Right.
wrong, and she's a very nice Lithuanian girl who worked at this chess tournament. She worked in the cafe area.
That was nice.
It
Good.
was very nice of her, and I hope she is listening, and I hope she comments now on the status that she's just liked.
Hello, Alshra. If you are listening, prove that you are by getting in touch. And who's the other person we need to say hello to?
The other person, not ordinarily, is many, many miles away in Germany.
But tonight,
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Tonight he's not many, many miles away, is he?
He's barely many metres away.
I don't think we can give away the details of how this show is broadcast, but there's someone in the nearby room that's staying with Nick.
He's in the room next door to this studio.
Yeah.
And his name is Pascal Simon, or Pascal even, not Pascal. He's not a pastel. Pascal Simon.
Isn't that a unit of electricity, Pascal?
I think, yes, it's not a unit.
I don't know.
Oh,
what it
there is something to do with electricity. Maybe Pascal can tell us.
Someone whose name is similar should probably have that knowledge. So get
Considering
in
I
touch,
did
Pascal.
a degree in physics, I probably should know that. But Pascal also works in chess, but I have to say he does a lot of... he's already written on there? Hectopascal. I'm not sure what that means.
That doesn't really help, but thanks for your comment.
Thanks
That's
for your
brilliant.
comment, Pascal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he also works in chess software, but perhaps more excitingly, he's a deep house DJ.
Really? That is more exciting.
That's a
you're
lot
right.
more exciting.
Does that mean
and a
he's-
bit more exciting than you'd imagine anyone involved with chess would be.
Does that mean he DJs from the basement of his house, or something slightly different to that?
It does not mean the second thing. It means the second thing. Definitely the second
I
thing.
apologise for getting that wrong.
Pascal's actually managed to comment on Facebook and made a very clever comment. He said, I think it's something to do with pressure. And I think he's right.
What, the fact that we make so many mistakes?
Yes, the pressure we're under, making this up as we go along.
Yeah.
No, I think a Pascal is a unit, something to do with pressure.
Right, if that's right, I'm pleased.
We've talked about chess, now we're talking about physics.
I need to say hello to someone else who's now made another comment.
Well, there we go. We're going to move on from Pascal Simon and his life in the room next door.
Well, we can ask him about his life after this programme.
We will.
But I'd like to say hello to Ollie Mobley, who I know is listening to this show.
Crazy.
To use his full name, Oliver, but I know him as Ollie.
Well, that's all right. You can use him as you can use him. You can use him, and you can abuse him.
I'm not going to do
But don't
that.
abuse him.
Or
use him.
He's got his own people to do that, I think. But he pointed out that the Pascal was a unit of pressure as well. Good knowledge, I think it's fair to say.
Not knowing Ollie Mobley, I'm amused by his comment.
By his use of flux capacitor.
Yes, he's talking about Lee with his better technology than you've got. Although I kind of have to point out that a flux capacitor was technology from the 80s, so that's really old. It's older than Deep Blue.
Yeah, but it was looking into the future, wasn't it? And how a time machine might be created.
But it was made in the 80s?
Yeah, but I don't... Flux capacitors
80s.
didn't exist?
Right, it might be fictional.
That's a ridiculous argument.
It was a piece of technology from the 80s.
Predicted the future, and therefore the technology they predicted is now 30 years old.
It didn't predict the flux capacitor. The scientist made the flux capacitor in the 80s. The flux capacitor wasn't a futuristic piece of equipment. It was a 1980s invention that happened to allow them to try. Now, if he'd have said a hoverboard,
Yeah.
I would have gotten entirely on board with that.
Because that was
I would have got on
only
board the hoverboard.
Wasn't there an interesting time last year when the date in the real world was the same date as the date of the future in Back to the Future?
I think there's been a few of those where the sort of dates that have appeared in Back to the Future have actually happened now.
Yeah.
And we haven't got hoverboards.
No, but why didn't you invent them? You were supposed to.
Because I'll just keep it to myself.
Just lazy. You turned to the world of chess and computers.
I keep
instead.
inventing the flux capacitor. I can't say it. I keep inventing the flux capacitor and realising it was invented 40 years ago. Or 30 years
That's a
ago.
fake thing. Oh, see what you've started now, Ollie. I wish you'd never mentioned the flux capacitor.
Yeah, thanks, Ollie. This is all your fault.
Fantastic. Right. Well, I think it probably would be good if we all had a break from arguing insanely about potential technology.
I think that's good for everybody.
Do you want to hear a random song?
Oh, go on then.
I think we should have a completely random song that's this.
I guess it's funnier from where you're standing.
There we go then. That was Emily Sunday and Clown. Do you know what I'm willing to almost bet? That she's never been a clown in a real circus. She doesn't know what it's like at all.
Hang on, so you're willing to almost bet? You
Yeah.
realise that basically means nothing's changed. I'm willing to almost bet. So you're not going to bet, though?
What I should have said was I'm almost willing to bet that she's never been a clown in a real circus.
Again, you're still not willing to bet?
What
You're
I'm
almost.
saying is...
Because you're either willing or you're not.
Yeah, that's true. What I'm saying is I'd like to make a strong statement about it, but I'm not going to go to William Hills and say what are the odds that Emily Sunday has ever been a clown in a circus.
So if someone said, would you bet 50p on this, you might consider it. If someone said, would you bet your actual foot, like you... That wouldn't be something you'd want to do.
The extremely daring man that I am. If someone said, "Oh, do you want to bet 50p?" I'd go, "Yeah." If they went, "Do you want to bet 500 quid?" I'd go, "No."
Right.
Because I can't afford to lose that amount of money.
And I'm going to take it back to chess for a very, very brief amount of time. Magnus Carlsen won the tournament. Vladimir Kramnik came second. I happen to know of an English chess grandmaster who halfway through the tournament bet £1,000 that Vladimir Kramnik would win the tournament.
Wow.
At that particular time, he was 16-1. He must have been gutted today that Magnus Carlsen, Kramnik lost.
To come
and
that
therefore,
close.
if he'd have drawn today, he would have won and got £16,000.
Is this one of those stories where you pretend it's about someone else and it was actually you?
Yep.
Unlucky.
Yeah, he would bet that I would lose today. So,
but you lose every day.
Yeah, he's massively rich, Alfie, actually. I don't know how he got 16-1. The bookies clearly
there
thought I was a lot better than I am.
Wasn't that tournament organised by an American billionaire?
Yes, it really was.
And he became a billionaire by betting on you losing at chess.
Yes, that's right.
That's amazing.
It's been an odd sort of few weeks because I have been sitting next to a billionaire and you kind of go... It sounds a ridiculous thing to say, now I'm saying it live on the radio, but you kind of think, aren't they supposed to be a bit different? Like, he's got over £1 billion and he isn't, and he just sort of sits there and chats to you.
Well, if you're a billionaire, you shouldn't ever have to make conversation with anybody. I think you can pay other people to talk for you so your larynx doesn't get exhausted.
That's right, because talking makes your larynx exhausted.
Yeah. And smoking and staying up endlessly late nights, that's also makes your voice exhausted.
Yeah, it's a laugh, isn't it?
You don't smoke, though.
I don't stay up endlessly late nights either. I'm in bed by 8, and I'm a clean living young man.
You're the most clean living...
I've just heard it's a law.
Youngest man I've ever met.
As a young man in my late 50s.
Yep. What? Hang on. What?
Go on.
You've had a hard life.
Talk about something else.
I think there's a few people that have been in touch with the show that we need to say hello to, aren't there?
I think there has been.
We need to say hello to regular listeners, the lovely Kylie Butler.
Kylie Butler is listening to us now?
Yeah, and she's lovely, and I'm presuming she's in Blackpool because I know she lives there.
Yep.
She
She's married and she's got a child.
Talis Butler Mulliner. Talis Mulliner?
There's no Butler in it. We just always assume
We're determined to get Talis's surname wrong. I'm sorry, Kylie and Davey.
I don't think Kylie minds. I think David Mulliner, her father, might mind.
Yeah, I think he's really entitled to mind. In fact, there's a courier coming through the door with hate mail from David Mulliner.
So finally we've got some mail that's arrived during the show. That was brilliant.
No, it was
well
a
done, David.
Female courier, so unlucky.
It's Times New Roman or Courier font.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Moving slowly on, but disappointingly. We also need to say... Stop it. We also need to say hello to the much less lovely than Kylie Butler, Lauren DaCosta.
God Lord, he's not lovely.
And broadcasting this show where we do from North London, Lauren DaCosta is normally as close as Pascal Simon is, but he's not
just
today.
Simon.
Simon?
Yeah.
Simon Simon. That's
Simon Pascal.
Simon Le Bon is listening. That's just brilliant.
Quickly to mention, a Pascal is, of course, the symbol PA. It's the SI-derived unit of pressure, internal pressure, stress, Young's modulus, and tensile strength, named after the French mathematician, physicist, inventor, writer, and philosopher, Blaise Pascal.
It's amazing that when we first talked about it, you didn't know anything, and suddenly you've just found all this great knowledge from the depths of your mind.
Well, you say I didn't know anything, but, so I would let you believe.
Yeah. Wikipedia's good, isn't
it? It is, yeah.
We also need to say hello to someone I worked with only yesterday.
Aria Carrier? No. You can't have worked with her yesterday.
No, I didn't work with her.
I'm not even sure if she's in... Lauren DaCosta's in America. Aria Carrier, his lovely girlfriend.
Yeah.
Is she in America? I don't know.
Aria, can you just let us know if you're in America or
not?
I
think she is, but I wouldn't like to say for certain.
Just Facebook us at the usual address or email in at info@wgni.co.uk.
Or you can write on our Twitter. Only one person has ever done it.
Or you can send a courier. Which would be
Aria Carrier sending a worrying courier. No, that was a warrior courier. No.
Right.
Warrior courier?
Stop it now. What I was trying to say a little while ago, it seems ages ago now because we got into a whole dangerous Aria Carrier courier area. I'd like to say hello to Nicole C, who I worked with yesterday. That's not like a cool DJ name like the letter C, Nicole C. Her surname is S-E-E-C.
She should make it into just the letter C.
Why?
It's a laugh, isn't it?
Yeah. Are you going to change your name to Nick M?
No, I might change it to Nick C.
Right, you do that then.
So, who's Nicole? You worked with her on the ridiculous costume character job.
I worked with her for a company that cannot be named costume character.
I hate them.
That isn't Disney. And
not Nicole. I don't hate you. I don't know you. I just hate the company you work for.
If you met Nicole, I think you'd like her.
I'm sure I would. She's lovely.
Yeah. How do you know she's lovely? If you
she's just written Nicole C. and Whoop.
Right, she's pleased about that then.
I hope so, unless Whoop means shut up you two idiots.
Possibly means that. Can I just ask, was there anything Freudian when you said you were going to call yourself Nixie and that you were imagining yourself in the future married to Nicole?
No, there's nothing Freudian. I am going to marry her.
Right, sorry Nicole, you don't have a choice.
I've never heard of her or who she is until about 3 minutes ago, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to marry her, so...
Right, that's literally love at first
She's going to be Nicole, and that's why she's going to change her name. So it's going to be Nick C. marries Nick C.
Yeah.
The most amazing wedding. Nicole, just message Ben on Facebook where you'd like to get married.
I'll be best man. I'm glad we've set this up.
Hang on a minute. You decided that a bit soon. Surely I should get to decide that?
Right. You got to decide you were marrying a girl who doesn't have a say in it. I think I can decide I'm best man.
What? Are you saying Nicole C isn't a mail order Russian bride?
I can
Because I think I've got the web pages that you're on mixed up massively.
I can 100% say she's not a mail order Russian bride. She's a Thai bride.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
No, she said she'd like to get married in the Caribbean. So
I don't have a problem with that. I think
that-
that's, to be fair, not that I've ever contemplated getting married, but that would be where I would want to get married.
right. I think Nicole, this is incredible. But bearing in mind you've never even seen Nick Murphy, you've virtually agreed to marry him, and because of your messaging the show, those are legally binding agreements.
Verbal contract is binding in the state of disarray.
It's gone violently right this evening. If you like,
So a girl
Nicole,
who I've never seen or heard, I'm now marrying her. So send your congratulations to the usual address.
info at wgni.co.uk, and send condolences to Nicole as well. If you want to check him out, Nicole, you can look on my friends list for Nick Murphy. You can see pictures of him.
My Facebook photo is just a big tiger face at the moment, so that's what you're getting into, Nicole. Sorry, love.
Oh, this is brilliant. Sort of arranged marriages, WGNI style.
Who else is listening to us?
Nobody.
That's it, is it? That's the entire list.
Yeah, I think
Brilliant.
so.
Well, we've done quite well. We've had some impressive... Actually, I would say to people, because people like Aria, Pascal, Aushra, they've all liked statuses that we've made about this on Facebook. Perhaps you could like to make a comment. Pascal obviously has made a comment, but Aushra and Aria made no comment, and I'd like to hear from them. I think we haven't mentioned somebody who liked to comment.
Oh, yeah, well, I think you should mention her then.
Well, we're not quite sure exactly how to pronounce her name, even though she's a former guest on one of our podcasts.
Yeah, those of you that don't know will need to know that we also do WGNI podcasts, 20 minutes long, available on iTunes.
That's right, and we had a Christmas special one year with our friend Fiona Hardingham, and although I think we called her, did we call her Violet Matheson, or did we call her Amy Matheson?
We called her Vi.
Vi, right, her name's Amy.
We got that violently wrong.
Violently
wrong.
Vi Amy. What? Yes. No, her name's Amy, and we are wondering, Amy, we keep wondering whether your name's Matheson or Matheson. Could you maybe...
I think we mispronounced it on the podcast.
We might have done. Could you write in on Facebook or Twitter, just on either of our Facebooks, just comment, are you Matheson or Matheson? That would really help us out.
Is there any chance that right now she's in LA listening to us?
I think Fiona went to LA. I'm not 100% sure. I don't keep up to date with Amy, even though she is on my Facebook, but I don't think she went to LA. Amy, could you let us know whether you're in LA or not?
Yeah. Can anybody listening to the show just let us geographically know where they are so we can work out the furthest away listener?
That would be exciting. If Aria Carrier's in Philadelphia, she might be the furthest away.
Is she in Philadelphia?
Well, that's where Lauren DaCosta is.
Did he take her with him?
Oh.
Lauren could be furthest away. He could have left Aria at home to fend for herself.
Oh no, that could end in tears.
Sadly, we have to go to a short break soon to play another random song, but excitingly, and I'll tell you about this after we come back, my first ever girlfriend has just got in touch on Facebook and is going to listen to the end of the show.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, so I'm quite excited about that.
Excellent. We'll talk about her later.
Will we?
Yes.
Right, here's a random song.
I cry as a little when I think of letting go.
There we go, that was Flo Rida and I Cry, which is quite apt because Nick Murphy is crying with joy at a message from Nicole C that we've just received.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very emotional time to announce on Facebook that I will be getting married tomorrow. And Ben Simmons, I've now got to ask you that question. That
this is emotional.
Will you
Yeah.
go and ask my mate to be my best man?
Yeah.
Pascal's just in the other room. Just go ask him, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for that. Anyway, I hope you two will be very happy together, and then Nicole, in a few weeks, you'll realise it was a rushed thing and was stupidly done over the radio, and Nick's actually an inane idiot, and you'll get divorced. And
Yeah, but then I'll be eligible to get half her money, so I don't mind.
yeah, good luck. Right, good.
She works for the costume character company, so she must be rich.
Yeah, that's the criteria for working for them.
I think I would probably say to her, don't work for the costume character. That'd be the only thing that she might have to compromise on in her life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want her to keep working for that costume
But you
character
could
company
support
because
her financially
I'm
then.
bitter about them.
You're going to support her financially? So
With
she
chess
doesn't have to do
tournaments
that?
all around the world. All right, so Nicole's in for a life of fun.
Forget your future marriage for now. It's not all about you, because someone's just...
It's about Nicole as well. Don't diss my woman. There's going to be trouble.
Quiet now, please. Right, yes, enough. We have also had a woman get in touch with the show who was my first ever girlfriend when I was 5. This is an emotional time for me.
I'm going to interrupt you. Pascal said he will be my best man. That's brilliant.
Hang on, what? I've been shunted out. I can't believe... I'm trying to talk about an emotional time for me. Just found out this terrible news. What do I get to be in the... Sorry, hang on, I'll come back to my first ever girlfriend in a minute. What do I get to do? I've introduced you to the bride-to-be, and the thanks I get is I just get put on the sidelines. Yeah, right, you can drive us to church.
I'm going to speak for Nicole, but she can message me if I'm wrong. But I think we should have a costume character at the wedding, and I think we both want you to be in the costume.
Suddenly,
Nicole, can you suggest which character we'd like
suddenly,
Ben to be?
Everything has got so much worse. Don't ever ask me to do that again. Right, moving on.
Let's move on.
I've got to move on before I cry with despair.
Let's talk about your first ever girlfriend. So
yeah, I was 5. She was 5.
She was number 1, and of course your lovely wife number 2. So good.
Yeah, my wife was my second ever girlfriend. These are the only 2 women I've ever known. I'd like to say a massive hello. Hang on, what are you doing? Calm down. He's had a marriage proposal and he's got overexcited.
The way that you said that live on the radio. I'm sorry, I'll just move away and calm down.
This is why you shouldn't drink before a broadcast.
Ever?
Yeah, I'd like to say a massive hello to Sally Steeden.
Sally, hello!
We were together between the ages of about 5 and 7, but sadly it didn't work out. She moved to Aylesbury.
So what, you were with her for 2 years?
It was probably longer than that. It was probably up to the age of 10 or 11. I can't remember how old we were when she moved to Aylesbury, but, you know, it was long-distance relationships never work when you're 11.
I wonder if she saw me when I did Panto in Aylesbury about 6 or 7 years. No, right.
No. Even if she did, she didn't. Because you'd probably try and marry her next week. Anyway, hello Sally. Excitingly, she's been in touch with the show. That's always fabulous. And she made an interesting comment on Facebook about the last time she saw me. I was about 14 or 15. And I hogged a computer game, apparently, at the time. So I'd like to apologise for that.
Was that on your Commodore that we talked about earlier?
We talked about my Acorn Electron. I briefly talked about Commodore. I don't know what was going on then.
Yeah.
But, yeah, apologies for that. I've always been a computer game hogger, but, you know, what can you do?
I think I need to have words with Sally Steeden.
Why?
She's put she'll marry me if I shut up.
I suddenly like her all over again.
I haven't... Is she talking about me or you? Me, I presume.
Yes.
Right. Well, that's all very well. Let's move on from Sally Steeden.
She was so nice when she was younger. She's clearly not going to take any of your rubbish.
Rude Aylesbury woman. It was a rubbish panto, so I hope you did see it.
She might not be in Aylesbury right now. In fact, I think she said something about being in a hotel in Canary Wharf. So.
Well, that's not the same.
No,
just to moved back to someone we talked about, Aria Esther Carrier. Yeah. She's definitely not in the USA. So
I'm sorry, Aria.
I'm sorry.
I don't mean this as harshly as it sounds, but I wish you were in the USA. I wish you were that far away from me.
Yeah. No, I'm pleased that she's not. I think this country's always a little bit sunnier when she's here.
That's not like meteorologically true, is it?
No, she's just got a light bulb. So that doesn't make it sunnier, really, does it?
She's got a light bulb. She's got access to it. So does all the population.
I've not thought this through, I'm going to admit. But
Aria Carrier's courier service is down, but she's got a light bulb, so that's all. Can I just say, Lauren DaCosta keeps asking us if we're on. You're either listening or you're not, Lauren DaCosta. You know, just... either give up or accept that you're listening.
Surely the way to find out whether we're on is to listen.
He knows we're on Ignite Radio. It's just trying to do it for attention.
He's now asked us to mention him in Philadelphia, not realising we've mentioned him about 5 times.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Philadelphia and find him and just ask him what the hell is wrong with him.
I'm going to eat some Philadelphia. It's a nice creamy cheese snack.
Yeah, have you ever had just Philadelphia on toast?
Definitely not, no.
Right, okay.
Sally has just messaged us what she put here. She's only kidding. Right, are you kidding about the fact you're going to marry me? Or are you kidding about you'll only do it if I shut up?
I think she's kidding about it. She'll only do it if you shut up. There are a lot more things you need to do before she'll really consider it.
Get you as a costume character to our wedding as well?
No,
Brilliant.
just like be a lot better at everything in your life.
Oh, then we're probably not getting married for a while.
Anyway,
That's
you
fine.
can't get married to Sally Steeden if you're marrying Nicole C tomorrow, is it?
Well,
hang
I'm
on.
not saying that it's going to work out with Nicole.
Right, yeah, to be fair, I did allude to that.
Yeah.
And did Nicole even consider, if you're getting married in the Caribbean, you've got to organise flights, and to do that the day before, that's going to be very expensive, unless you kind of get standby flights.
We were gonna like swim.
Were you?
No. But what's upsetting is Nicole hasn't mentioned what character she wants Ben to be, and I think, if she doesn't do that soon, we've only got about 4 minutes of the show left. So
well, the wedding
let
could
us know.
depend on that message, Nicole. So
Definitely get on
it's
the
down to
case,
that.
Nicole.
We're going to stop broadcasting in 3.5 minutes. So it's down to you, really. The ball's in your court now, Nicole.
Think about what you're doing.
Yeah, good. So another broadcast begins to wend its way home and draw itself to a close. How do you feel tonight?
I feel this has been thoroughly enjoyable. I've enjoyed the interaction. I think this has perhaps been the most interactive WGNI radio show on Ignite Radio that we've ever done.
I think, carrying on with the interactive theme, we need to say a very quick last-minute hello to Charlotte Chin, in case she's listening. Because she's,
I think I can almost guarantee she's not listening.
she's sort of indicated that she understands there is some sort of radio broadcast going on, but sort of put, huh?
I
On
think
Facebook.
Charlotte is one of the loveliest people I know, but there are certain things that she has a sort of different way of looking at things to most people, and it makes her all the sweeter, I think.
Right, that's the lovely Charlotte Chin there.
That's a lovely Charlotte Chin.
Do you know what you're going to be doing directly after this show? You're going to be retiring to your room and sleeping off the excitement, the adrenaline, and then
When
waking
you
up
say
tomorrow?
retiring to my room, you
Yeah.
realise that our studio is my room.
Trying to make it sound better than it really is.
Okay, right. Yes. I'll just be. In fact, my man is going to drive me up to the country house. Actually,
You're mad.
yeah, he's waiting for me in the limo.
No, you've misunderstood the message. He's waiting for you in Limoges.
No, he's waiting for me at a limbo bar, which is a bit weird, really. I don't like limbo.
Where do they even exist? A limbo bar? Just you go in, you order a drink, you do some limbo, and then you go home.
I don't know.
If
I'm
they
very
don't-
tired.
If they don't exist,
It's been a long hour.
if limbo bars don't exist, there's a genuine business opportunity.
This is the
there, I
latest
think.
we've ever finished a show. It's nearly midnight. We've nearly gone across 2 days.
Yeah, no, but can I just slightly correct you there? We've started podcasts after midnight.
Yeah, but this is a radio show, and so it's not the same.
It isn't the same when you have to kind of
The f-
curb your natural desire to swear a lot more. In our podcast, we don't, because we have parental advisory explicit content. on
That's
it.
right. We've got potty mouths on the podcast.
The genuine lovelies of igniteradio.com, they don't allow talk like that.
No, and we wouldn't want to sully their airways with it, because we like Ignite Radio.
We do like them. They've given us this opportunity. Thanks very much.
But yes, but this is we haven't done it on the radio show, have we? So
No, so clearly you're flagging.
yeah, I am flagging a little bit.
And you need to keep your strength up for tomorrow for your wedding, don't you?
Well, yes, I mean, I think perhaps we need just to tell Nicole that I might be a bit of a disappointment.
Well, all I'm going to say now about Nicole C is that she hasn't said what character I get to be, so I'm not involved in the wedding. It's put the
beginning
whole
to-
thing in jeopardy.
I'm beginning to feel that Nicole's sort of lost enthusiasm for the whole marriage idea.
And lost enthusiasm for our programme and turned it off. So there you go.
Well, there's not long left to go, just a few seconds.
Yes, so it just remains for us to feel emotional once again. So we'll be back with you in 2 weeks' time, which is a very special occasion because it's going to be broadcasting live on Mr. Nick Murphy's birthday. Now, if that's
Wow.
not emotional, I don't know what is.
Exactly, so I want to hear lots of messages from all of you on my birthday. And
Thanks very much. You've been fabulous. Over to Nick Murphy for the last 10 seconds.
Well, that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Ben. Yes, this has been We've Got No Idea on igniteradio.com. We'd like to thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.